everyone. I wanted to discuss the scandal paper and the movie project that are coming up or will be due soon. You'll need to get started on them. So the first thing I want to talk about is the scandal paper. The actual paper is due November the 2nd. And then after November 2nd, y'all will also be making presentations. All right, so let's talk about the paper a little bit first. So this is a basic rubric, so to speak, of the paper. Notice it talks about, well, the first one that's worth the most points, 55 points, is that you cover the topic and the implications and the lessons learned. All right, remember we're in an ethics class and it needs to cover some corporate scandal. You have a basic organization of ideas, smooth transitions, it makes sense, it's readable, I can understand what you're talking about. Just basic paper writing. All right, then there's 10 points for grammar, spelling, and references. All right, you do need to have references and you need to make sure to reference them. The grammar and the spelling I will take off for, not a ton because we're not an English class, but it does need to look like, it does need to look somewhat professional. And then the presentation is part of the overall grade, and it is worth 15 points. So that all adds up to 100 for the paper. Now, what you're going to do with this paper is every student has to choose, a relatively contemporary accounting / business scandal. This is an accounting ethics course, so I do prefer an accounting scandal of some sort. But if you can find, a business scandal that's financial related, then I'll be okay with that. You cannot use Enron, Tyco, or Zabest because within the context of the course, we will cover those corporations pretty thoroughly. All right, so the paper should summarize what the scandal is, give an analysis of the ethical, legal, code standard rule violations involved. All right, examples of scandals other than these ones that we'll be talking about in class might be Waste Management, House South, Martha Stewart, Sunbeam, the Baptist Foundation, etc. Just type in top 20 accounting scandals or top 20 business scandals, and actually just type in top, and they'll come out with hundreds of them. Sadly, there are a lot of them to choose from. All right, whatever case you select, it needs to be approved by me. And every student must have their own scandal. So you want to choose soon, because if you choose one and somebody's already chosen it and let me know, then it will not be available for you. All right, I did create a discussion board for the choice of scandal. So all you need to do is write down in the discussion what corporation you chose. All right, it is worth 10 points and it is due. There's a due date. I made it September 28th. I believe. I made it 2 weeks from tomorrow. Yes, September 28th. All right, basic rubric for grading is up here above. All right, now the presentation. Normally we would have in-class presentations. They would start in November and take pretty much the rest of the semester. So, the book is only 8 chapters. This week we will be done with through chapter 4 by the end of this week, and then we'll have a test. And then we only have 4 more chapters left to go. So, we'll be done, and then we need to start presenting. So what I think we're going to actually do here is set it up kind of like I would for face-to-face, where I draw names as to who presents what days, and then your video submission would have to be submitted that day. Ferries are on Terry's. Sorry about that. But we'll talk a little bit more about that as the time goes by. But no matter when you are actually making your presentation, the paper is due November the 2nd. Okay, so I'm sure y'all will be emailing me. We can get a little discussion going about, if anybody has any questions and stuff like that. All right, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is the movie project. All right, the movie project is due October the 5th, which is about 3 weeks away. Really 4 weeks away. So you have plenty of time. You need to pick a movie that needs to have some sort of scandal involved. All right, and I did in Blackboard, I did post a list of possible movies that you could choose from. You don't have to choose from any of those. It just is an idea of what movies you can choose from. All right, And then you're going to basically write a critique of the film. It's any movie, but it needs to be a business or a character that has some sort of ethical issue going on. All right, and really I kind of prefer some sort of business-oriented movie. It doesn't have to be accounting, but business would be a good choice. You need to write a paper. It doesn't have to be super long, and by the time you summarize the movie, it'll be several pages long. You won't have a problem with that. And within that paper, you need to identify and describe the major ethical issues, how it relates to accounting or business, what you think is the most important issue, and what you learned from it. Then, after you watch the movie and complete your paper, I'm going to set up a discussion board, and you're going to create a discussion that just briefly summarizes your movie and the main lesson that you learned regarding ethics in the accounting or business profession. Okay? And that is all due by October the 5th. So I'll be setting up a discussion board for that soon. And all of this information, the instructions for the paper and the movies and the list of movies are all on the home page. The scandal paper instructions are on just the home page by itself. Okay, so here are the ethics and scandal instructions. And then the movie project, I put in its own folder because it has a couple of files. And then I will ultimately set up an assessment where you'll submit the actual paper, all right? And that will be in this folder as well. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. I miss actually seeing you guys in person. Talk to you later.